And I don't know if any of your interviews have ever told the story of how the ASU West went down in flames under Homer Durham. Durham had received property from Goodyear. Goodyear had given them some property to build a university up there, and the Board of Regents had accepted it. And they had everything was ongoing, and they were going down to make a presentation to the joint appropriations committees to get the initial funding that they needed. Before they could start the hearing, Senator John Conlon from Scottsdale got the floor, and he said, you know, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask a couple of questions of Dr. Durham, and the first question is, I understand that you had a peace rally on the campus last night. Is that correct? And the president responded, yes, that's correct. And he said that I understand that the dean that you have chosen for the new college, Dean Landini, took part in that peace demonstration. Is that correct? And Dean Landini was sitting there, and it was correct that he'd participated in an anti-war protest. And there was bedlam in the Appropriations Committee hearing. The hearing was shut down. They came back home. There was never a hearing on that campus. President Durham went to Utah. Goodyear took their land back. And I started under Schwada, and Schwada would not talk about an ASU West campus. He would not even consider it. I was the lobbyist, and I was getting lobbied all this time by the people down in the legislature from the west side, and they were getting pretty vociferous about they wanted a west side campus. And I was lobbied pretty intensely, and when Russ Nelson came, I had my first interview with him, and I still got the paper that I wrote down, that there were 3 things that Russ Nelson had to do while he was here. Number 1 is he had to build a West campus. Number 2, he had to make Sun Devil Stadium available for pro football. And number 3, he had to increase the Mexican Americans at the university, attending the university. And I'm happy to say he did all 3 of those things. But the West campus was one that he had to pull together, and I can tell you how that happened if you want to know.
Please do. No one else has. I even asked someone and they didn't know.
There was in the legislature, it was a year when they needed to have a sales tax increase. And Burton Barr was the leader, was the majority leader in the House, and Stan Turley was the president of the Senate. And they needed a vote very crucial in the Senate. And so they needed a vote from a couple of West Siders, legislators. Leila Alston is one who was there. And Leila said, I'm not going to vote for it unless you support an ASU West campus. So Stan Turley phoned me up and said, Brent, I'm on board for a West campus. What have you got? Can you deal? And so I got Paige Mulholland, Russ Nelson, Reeves, Jack Kinsinger. Anyway, there were 4 or 5 vice presidents, and we got in a room, and I told them that there was a window of opportunity here that we could get the support from the legislature for a West campus. And Russ Nelson's response was, well, that sounds really good. Let's appoint a committee and, you know, study this issue. And I says, no, Russ, you got to understand. You got until 1 hour from now. If you want a West campus, we can deal. And to his credit, he said, go. And we went down and we cut the deal. And we got the money in the budget. It appeared in our budget to do something at West Campus. And the next year, very shortly thereafter, we got Doug Todd to help us, And we wrote into the legislation that there would be an ASU West campus in the statutes before the Board of Regents ever considered it. And that's how we got around the Board of Regents.